Now let's talk about the island we associate most to Christmas, Drum Island, where we meet a wonderful Dr. Chopper. It's also the island we find out about Ace, Blackbeard, and the Will of Dee for the first time. We all know the obvious links to Christmas like Dr. Kureha and his sled, Wapol who is basically an a-hole Santa with his Baku Baku factory, and toys he makes later in the chapter covers. Now for something a little different. In the One Piece world, have you ever noticed that Oda places mushrooms in strange places around the story? They often feel like they are suggesting something deeper, but it never really gets explained further. And Drum Island, for some reason, has the most references to mushroom. For starters, did you know that mushrooms have something to do with Christmas? Lapland, a real location in our world and the northernmost region of Finland, has been connected to the legend of the North Pole, the home of Santa. It is in Lapland that we get a bizarre connection of mushrooms and Christmas. So, the Arctic shamans of Lapland, who had deep connections with reindeers, used to go down people's chimneys and hand out toxic but psychedelic mushrooms called Amanita muscaria. The shamans even dressed in red with white dots like mushrooms and rode on reindeer-drawn sleds. I guess it was a form of escapism too, since the winter times in the past was difficult for many cultures. Interestingly, reindeers, especially the male ones, also like to eat Amanita muscaria, and one of the effects of the Amanita muscaria is that it makes you feel like you're flying, hence its other word, the fly Amanita. Perhaps this is where the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came from. I wonder if Chopper will get a final form that allows him to fly like Dumbo, except instead of massive ears, he gets like these massive horns. Does that sound stupid? Yeah, I think that's stupid. There's also a theory tying mushrooms to how people put gifts under evergreen trees, all wrapped up in red and white. In fact, in nature we see mushrooms growing under trees in similar positions to where gifts would be, so people think that maybe it's not just a coincidence. Finally, have you noticed that the formation of the Drum Rockies is kinda weird? Like, it looks really unnatural and certainly doesn't look like mountain formations, until you do this. Now it makes a lot more sense why we're seeing random mushrooms everywhere in the Ark. Maybe in the past, Drum Island was even an autumn island, since the oldest living person there is Dr. Kureha, which means maple leaf. We even see that Drum Kingdom, which is a winter island, is now renamed as the Sakura Kingdom, a kingdom now representing spring. It seems only natural that it could have been an autumn island if you think about it like this. I actually think that Drum Island played a huge part in the 4th century, especially if Joy Boy's name ends up being Nerona di Lamu. It would actually also make more sense based on Luffy's first reaction to the island, where he was actually moved to tears. I can't actually remember if he has ever done that before for another island, and also when he reaches a castle atop the mountain, he is simply in awe. Again, a reaction that I'm not sure that I've ever seen from him. It makes me wonder if Lamu at one point lived on Drum Kingdom and the island was liberated by him, and maybe the castle was perhaps built in his honor, like the Great Naruto Bridge in Naruto. There is definitely something going on there, but I don't have quite enough to go off of just yet.